So Sophie Cunningham is one of the biggest names in the WNBA. And as well as that, she's also one of the best glue guys, role players in the entire league.
This situation is unbelievable. Caitlin Clark did not see this coming. Just when it looked like the Indiana Fever had finally found their rhythm, boom. Sophie Cunningham dropped news that sent shockwaves through the entire organization. One comment, one moment, and suddenly the entire WNBA world stopped in its tracks. Momentum, chemistry, future plans, everything flipped on its head in seconds.
Sounds like the Indiana Fever are not going to keep Sophie Cunningham. It does sound like the Fever are not going to keep her. From her podcast, a lot of the time she'd been mentioning the Fever, and in the most recent podcast, she did not mention the Fever.
And here's where it gets wild. During her most recent podcast appearance, Sophie, a respected veteran known for her grit and shooting, casually hinted that she might not be wearing a Fever jersey next season. Fans were stunned. How could one of the most passionate leaders even think about walking away? But listen closely that this isn't just about Sophie looking for a new home. If what she hinted at actually happens, it could expose something much deeper happening inside the Indiana Fever, something the team has tried very hard to keep quiet.
So Sophie Cunningham is one of the biggest names in the WNBA. And as well as that, she's also one of the best glue guys, role players in the entire league.
The episode started normal, friendly chatter, jokes, storytelling. Then out of nowhere, Sophie drops the line that froze every Caitlin Clark fan in place. She said, "The next team I play for, I want a bigger contract so I can finally buy a house and relax." And she didn't toss it out like a joke. She meant it. Confident, serious, and almost resigned. She said it again just to make sure everyone heard her. You could literally feel the energy shift. This wasn't a slip. It was intentional. The other hosts were shocked. One finally muttered, "Wow, that's crazy," and just like that, speculation exploded. Liberty? Lynx? Somewhere totally unexpected? What made it stranger? Sophie had been one of the Fever's strongest supporters. She praised Clark's leadership, Boston's growth, and the team's hunger. She once described Indiana as home, but this time, no loyalty talk, no excitement about the future. Her words felt like someone already mentally packing their bags. Fans noticed, quickly. Social media lit up. Had the Fever already decided not to keep her? Was this her subtle way of applying pressure for a new deal? Either way, the message was loud and clear.
What's the 8th pick for a rental of a player that is coming off the best season of her career in her 20s that they don't want to keep? Like, this is the dumbest thing I think I've seen a team do.
At that point, it didn't feel like she was considering options. It sounded like she'd already made peace with leaving. This wasn't a player demanding luxury. It was someone tired of waiting to feel valued. She wasn't angry. She sounded disappointed. Done. And honestly, her tone hit harder than any official announcement could, which leads to the real question. If you're trying to build a winning culture, why would you even think about letting someone like Sophie Cunningham walk away?
Like, genuinely. They traded 4 years of Sinai Rivers, and by the way, the Fever wouldn't have drafted Sinai Rivers. The Fever would not have drafted Sinai Rivers. The Fever are dumbasses. They would have drafted somebody else. But losing Sophie Cunningham for money reasons is not a smart thing to do.
To understand the magnitude of this, rewind the tape. Indiana gave up the number 8 overall draft pick to get Sophie. That move shocked the league. Trading away a top 8 pick is huge, especially in a league where rookie contracts are critical. But Indiana wanted a veteran shooter to support Caitlin Clark immediately. Someone battle-tested, vocal, and team-focused. And guess what? Sophie delivered exactly that.
For not keeping Sophie Cunningham is if Lexi Hull wants a max. An unpopular opinion, Sophie's better than Lexi. But it's close enough that fair enough Lexi's younger. But I'm like, Lexi's not worth a max either. Like, if you're stuck in a situation where you've got 2 wings that are not max contract players looking for max contracts, and you have to pick one or the other, you're kind of screwed.
For months, the trade looked genius. She played fearless defense, brought fire every night, and instantly won over fans. She wasn't chasing stats. She played to win and made life easier for Clark in Boston. And now, rumor is the Fever might just let her leave. No contract. No trade return, nothing. Fans are furious. Analysts are baffled. Fever supporters are calling it organizational malpractice. And they're right. Letting a player go after spending a top 8 pick to get her? Disaster. No plan. No backup. No urgency. It sends one message. This front office never realized how important she was. And here's where it cuts deeper.
She is she's willing to take any role. And now she's talking about my next team. This sounds like a podcast of somebody that has just been told by the organization, we are not keeping you. Or, if this is what you want, we're not offering you what you want.
Sophie's energy masked a bigger issue. The system in Indiana feels broken. Under coach Stephanie White, players outside Clark and Boston seem stalled, uncertain, even regressing. Roles change weekly. Rotations are inconsistent. The style of play looks improvised instead of structured. Look at KK Timpson. The team believed in her, but instead of blossoming, she struggled. Even overseas, she lacks rhythm. That's not just on the player. That's a development failure. Meanwhile, Sophie played through pain, guarded Star Wings every night, hit clutch threes, and gave everything. And when it came time for contract talks, silence. Caitlin Clark can create magic with chaos, but chaos wears teammates down. Sophie's subtle exhaustion said it all. She doesn't want fame. She wants stability, respect, a team with a plan. And inside Indiana, that doesn't exist right now. The Fever's cap situation is messy. Natasha Howard's on a max deal, Lexi Hull's extension is looming, and suddenly the team acts like they can't afford the one player who never complained. Never needed touches and still impacted every game. She shoots over 40% from deep. She defends. She sacrifices. And somehow she's the one pushed out? If you ask Fever fans, this is backwards. If you want, I can now. In the end, this moment isn't just about one player hinting at a departure. It's about a much bigger truth that the league and this franchise can no longer ignore. Championship culture isn't built on talent alone. It isn't built on hype, on headlines, or on viral highlight reels. It's built on trust, on respect, on vision. And right now, the Indiana Fever are standing at a crossroads. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent, the kind you build empires around. Aaliyah Boston is the foundation piece every team dreams of. Sophie Cunningham? She represented the heartbeat, energy, toughness, accountability, and sacrifice. When a player like that feels pushed aside, when loyalty is met with silence, when effort isn't rewarded, it shines a bright spotlight on what's really happening behind closed doors. And here's the truth. Great franchises don't accidentally let culture leaders slip away. Great franchises don't gamble with chemistry. Great franchises don't build teams on short-term decisions. They build dynasties. Maybe Sophie walks. Maybe she doesn't, but her words have already done something far more powerful. They exposed the cracks. They forced a conversation the Fever front office can't ignore anymore. Players talk. Locker rooms talk. And in a league this tight-knit, perception becomes reality fast. So now the world watches. Will Indiana protect the culture they're trying to build? Or will this be the first domino in a story they never wanted written? A story of wasted potential, fractured chemistry, and players searching for stability elsewhere. Time will tell. But one thing is certain. Sophie Cunningham didn't just speak for herself. She spoke for every player who wants more than minutes. She spoke for those who want a home, a vision, a future, and sometimes, one quiet voice reveals the truth louder than any headline ever could. If Indiana listens, they evolve. If they don't, they risk losing much more than a shooter. They risk losing belief, and belief once broken is almost impossible to rebuild. If you're still here, make sure you tap subscribe, hit that like button, and drop your thoughts below. Because this story is just getting started. And trust me, at the next chapter, it's going to be just as explosive. Stay tuned and stay locked in. WNBA season drama has only just begun.